Levels, levels.
Levels, levels.
So earlier this week, Jake and Nick and Amy and I were texting about the Rapture.
Sorry, what
The Rapture.
is that a new band?
Wow, I almost said God. You really are unplugged from social media, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, is that's that new? It's the newest replacement for Twitter, right?
Seriously, you're messing with me, aren't you? Okay, the Rapture is the Christian belief that at the second coming, followers of Jesus will get caught up to heaven. It's First Thessalonians. Did you know something I learned this week? The word rapture itself does not appear in the Bible. Anyway, the rapture. Yeah,
Okay.
By the way, if you're not listening to the show this week because you're already gone, congratulations.
Okay.
I don't know if pods make it to heaven.
The good ones do. So, how is this related to? You said that I don't pay attention to social media. How is this related to social media?
It was on TikTok.
Oh, so it must be real. Oh,
right.
Okay. See? You know what? Literally, it was on TikTok. Explains nothing and everything in a single sentence. Okay. So, jeez. So, did the four of you come to any conclusions about the rapture?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Venn diagram of people that I want to see raptured and people holy enough to actually be raptured, it's a tiny little sliver. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, weekly podcast with Dewayne Johnson and Todd Prinz, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just, sitting here recording podcast tonight. Tonight's a recording night.
I'm like, you're checking your levels. We already did an episode tonight. But okay.
You know what? Force of habit. You know, any good broadcaster starts as soon as the recording starts, just starts messing around with the dials. That's how the pros do it.
That's just facts.
It is not how the pros do it. But I saw it on TikTok, so I thought I should do it.
By the way, I was doing the little bit of research that I needed for the cold open.
Yep.
And had to Google some things.
Okay.
I did so in an incognito window, praying really.
Ironically.
Yes.
I'm gonna be Googling some religious stuff, so I'm praying that they don't know that I'm doing the religious stuff. Is that how that works?
That's
I don't know.
Otherwise, my feed is just going to be full of it on so many levels. Oh, yeah, it's been a week. Hey, could be worse. Can I just say, and I don't know if this makes the cut or not by the time we're done. Can I just say that we don't do politics on this show?
What? Not the stuff that we air. We do politics a lot on this show. We just cut it all out.
But if we wanted to air them, we live in a country where we could. And I'm happy for that.
Did you move? Congratulations, Guatemala.
Hello from the Caymans.
What I did there was Dewayne was having a nice moment, and then Todd just either ruined it or improved it or both.
It's that Venn diagram. It's a
small sliver, right? And it's a small sliver right between that.
Feedback, follow-up, and updates.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a bunch. This is going to be the whole show pretty much. Okay. Where do we start?
Did you watch the thing that Amy sent you?
I want to say yes, but I don't know now.
Jimmy Fallon does NFL head coaches.
I did not. I clicked on it and then squirreled and never went back. Now that you mention it. Yeah.
You got Shauna and Sean and Sean and Shen. You got John and Jim and Dave. You got Brian, Ben. You got Mike, Aaron, Glenn. You got this guy, he's the Mr. Cleanest. And this guy helps with diabetes. And this guy has the best goatees. And this guy, his name's Kevin. You got this guy, he's the very oldest. This guy, he could be a Jonas. And this guy, Buzz from Home Alone is. And this guy, also Kevin. Nick, Todd, Zach, Kyle, don't forget Raheem, though. Final two, you know, it's Liam and D'Amico. 32 gentlemen, now you know them well. That's every coach in the NFL.
When we actually, oh my God, it is so awesome.
Sweet.
And it is so on brand for us.
Yes.
Oh.
Content that at least half of our listeners don't want to hear.
Okay. Sports, it is.
Oh,
yes.
I mean, you meant sports stuff. Okay, got it.
That's
Okay.
awesome. So, and then I got this thing from Jake, which is semi-related. I don't think I'm giving away the punchline because I already texted you kind of the punchline. This was in the Onion.
Report: the U.S. still leads world with highest densities of Kevins,
And it's a map of the world.
with red dots where all the Kevins are.
Right. And it is overwhelmingly in the United States.
Yes, although I would say, I'm just going to say this, on a per capita basis, Iceland is doing some work, because there's quite a few red dots in Iceland. So, I mean, we might have it on total number, but once you get to per square, or per capita Kevins, which, is clearly something that you can look up in the World Fact Book every year, rank countries by Kevins. You mean Kelvins, the temperature? No. No, Kevins. You heard me.
Did I stutter? Yes. Yep.
Well, thank goodness we're number one in something.
Yep.
Okay, Kevins. Yay.
This, you remember, was it last week that I provided the feedback from Amy about our concessions bit?
Yes, I believe it was, when is this going to end? And you said, oh, there's only a few more. And she said, no, not this one, this entire bit. Never, ever, ever cover prices at sporting events again.
Yeah, you need to stop doing this.
Yeah, need to stop. You need to stop.
It wasn't
not funny.
It wasn't very funny to begin with, and now it's
Yeah.
definitely not. You've driven this into the ground.
Yeah, that was just last week.
That was okay. So that was just last week.
I believe so.
This last week, from both Doug of the Idiot Toddlers and Michael, Toddler 818, sent me concession prices for the Ryder Cup.
Again, look, at this point, we're not going to look for the content. The content is coming. The content is calling from the inside the house. It is coming to us.
Sweetie, it's not my fault, but I feel obligated to report that a 16-ounce Michelob Ultra, Todd, any guesses on a 16-ounce Michelob Ultra?
At the Ryder Cup, which is in New York, I believe Beth Page.
The black course, yes.
Yeah.
Haven't played it. I played the green. I have not played the black.
Yeah.
Golf course dream drop.
I'm going to say 1850.
If I were asking you for the price of a 25-ounce Michelob Ultra, that would be $18.
Oh, okay.
But the price for a 16-ounce is only $15, so no bell for you.
No.
I also, if you're curious, you could get a 12-ounce Michelob Ultra Zero for $12. So it's $3 less if you take out the alcohol.
Then you're just walking around with an oat wine cooler. without the alcohol though. So it's just a,
if you were really thirsty and there was nothing else available anywhere on the grounds, you could get yourself a Bud Light seltzer for $16 or a High Noon tequila seltzer, also $16. The Bud Light version is $1 per ounce. The High Noon version is only 12 ounces for that $16. So slightly more expensive. Actually, the most expensive thing by ounce on the menu. Anyway, the tweet that came through was, maybe the Ryder Cup fans won't be so rowdy. Who can afford to get completely sloshed at these prices?
That's another new crowd control. Oh no, we're just going to price the beer out. So everybody's just going to have to be, I got one beer for the entire day. I don't. Yeah. USA, don't spill my beer, dude. Come on. Hey, careful.
Hole in one, and everybody's going, oh, no, I'm not celebrating. I'm just, yep. Yeah. Anyway, concession prices. It's a thing that we feel obligated to cover, darling. What else did we get?
I did hear from Toddler 401k, Danny. He listened to last week's show. He wanted to inform us that he will not be getting the Lego set, the new record-holding Lego set, the Death Star. Not because it's $1,000, but because there's a hard and fast rule in his house, which is he can only get Legos of places he's been to. At which point, Lisa said, so when did you go to Hogwarts?
We've been to Hogwarts.
Universal Studios counted.
Okay.
So I apparently look, we have rules. We have concepts of rules.
Ish.
Yeah, we have Ish. Ish is doing a lot of work there. So anyway, yeah, Danny's pretty sure that that's not going to be a destination that he's going to put on his next travel. Ooh, the Death Star. Anyway, so yeah. Also, he did have some concerns about where would you store it. That does become a bit of a problem.
Oh,
so,
that's yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He'd need an addition.
Yeah, but you can't add a third story onto the house because the fire truck doesn't reach up there. So you got to build out, not up. That's just code. I don't make the rules. Oh, wait, I used to.
That's right. Also, and we ran out of time last week. We're going to do this last week.
Yes. Sorry, Josh, we Matt Damon'd you. Sorry, bud.
Hey, Jimmy wasn't on last week either. So, Josh Prinz, the Dino Toddler, spent some time in Europe and filed a correspondence report, I guess we'll call it, because he had a very, it seems like he had a very talking to Todd kind of experience, Todd.
They did. And what I'm going to let you guys, we'll cover some of this real quick though. So here's details of his, of their trip. He had a work sabbatical, so they got to spend quite a bit of time in Europe. They flew into Paris, drove to the south of France, Monaco, a train to Barcelona, a cruise from Barcelona to Southampton, driving from Southampton to Edinburgh, taking a train from Edinburgh to London, and then taking a train from London to Lille, and then driving from Lille to Paris via Brussels, Bruges, Normandy. He organized the report as such. Planes. He gave a full report out of the models of planes.
God bless you.
Yes. Also, by the way, just in case, they did fly from Chicago to and from Dublin on an A330-300, not as nice as the A380s a few years ago on British Airways. Then, after covering the plane transportation, covered all of the long distance trains. He did say all were very similar to riding Amtrak. Now,
actually,
did you have to pull over and wait for 2 hours while the corn went by?
I was going to say, it is very important that SNCF, LNER, and Eurostar do not hear this because they will be suing for libel. I've been on, I've taken 2 of those trains. And Anyway, so trains were there. And then the next category is automobiles. So everybody, just to be clear, the report is organized as planes, trains, and automobiles. Once again, I haven't gotten the DVD out. So just like this is high level trolling because I'm reading about airplanes, I'm reading about trains, and then we get to automobiles. I'm like, damn it. Look what he did. Nice on you.
Solid work, Josh.
Yep. Let's see. Wow. Hey, they got to rent a Mercedes E200.
It's a nice car.
Yeah. And then according to Josh, after never intentionally driving on the left side of the road in my life, we put over 1,700 miles on the car in 1 week when driving around the UK. They were all over the place. I mean, Brighton, Cornwall, Cardiff, Isle of Skye. He did learn a couple of things. The hardest part about driving on the left isn't remembering to stay on the left or navigating roundabouts. It's staying centered in my lane when I'm sitting on the right side of the car. Lisa has a story that begins with, "This is the day I thought Todd was going to kill us." That is exactly about Todd couldn't drive in the center of the lane. Anyway, that's fun.
Again, if you start to feel comfortable, you're doing it wrong.
Yes. The second one, it's amazing how the English countryside is full of skinny one-lane roads with hedges that keep you from seeing around any bends in the road, and yet they somehow are two-way roads. They scared the crap out of me. Can confirm, hard yes. The thing he left out, and again, what he's describing is all over. It is basically a one-lane road with 8-foot tall solid hedges on either side of the road, but it's a two-way road. You can't see around the corners. And in most of them, the speed limit there is the national speed limit. Dewayne, do you know what the national speed limit is in England?
50 kilometers an hour?
70 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour on a one-lane, two-way road with hedges so you can't go anywhere. Yep.
So when we drove in rural Kentucky, replace hedges with muddy ditch and the other side of hedges with steep drop off.
Yes. Yeah.
Blissfully, the average rate of speed is more like 25 or 30 miles an hour.
Normal, what it should be.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But when you come to another car in rural Kentucky, who pulls over? The person that does not have the cliff is the person who pulls over. That's a hard and fast rule.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's just polite.
The person who has more bourbon, that's the person who pulls over.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to say the person who just filled up with bourbon doesn't pull over, because if they go over the edge, then that's a tragedy. The person who doesn't have the bourbon, they're the ones that have to get over. It's basic right of way. Let's see. While they were in London, they saw 2 shows. They had never seen the Book of Mormon, so they figured what better place than London.
Hello.
I think this is so important. He said, we knew what we were getting into coming in. That is so important with this show. Just like so important. And it was as expected. Very well written and performed. Definitely written by Parker and Stone. Their biggest regret was not borrowing Todd and Lisa's punch cards so they could get us closer to filling out the 20 punches. That would have been handy because we're going to get a few more punches at the end of this year. Let's see. Also saw The Merry Wives of Windsor at the Globe. It was incredible and highly recommend. Also, they did not see Operation Mincemeat in London, but they did go over to the theater where it was playing. And as the show ended and people were leaving, Beth and the girls did go into it and bought some merch.
Attaway.
Because they saw it on Broadway, right? And so,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I'm going to set this up and then I'm going to let Dewayne explain this. It said they did walk around Monaco for a day. I hear they do F1 stuff there. Yes.
A bit.
While they were in London, they went to one new chain shopping center in London, got a nice view of the city from the top level, and walked right past the F1 arcade that I've mentioned here. So that's the arcade, the first but not only. There's a lot more now. However, at the end of this, Josh then explains something that I read this a couple of times and went, this can't wait. What? Dewayne, would you like to explain the bit of knowledge that Josh dropped on us?
I'm happy to read it. I'm absolutely positive that I can't explain it.
Yep.
According to Josh, my daughters don't care much about sports in general. This is related to F1. But the one thing they knew way more than Beth or me are the names of F1 drivers. The reason? They're both big into reading and writing fan fiction. Side note, both of them have written Operation Mincemeat fan fiction. Apparently, there's fanfic involving real-life F1 drivers, and it is extremely popular, especially alternate universe writings where the drivers are in non-F1 situations and fall in love with each other. One is a barista, the other is a stressed-out college student. Or two of them are rival ballet stars who become lovers. Yes, it's weird. No, my daughters aren't into that particular genre. And I'm like, I can't decide what of this is feedback and what of it is what I learned this week. Maybe some of it is idiots. F1 fan fiction?
But not just F1 fan fiction, where you write that Lance Stroll finally wins a world championship that his dad doesn't have to pay for. Instead, it's like Lance Stroll as a FedEx driver. Wait, what?
The title, if you're looking for these, and I suppose you can, toddlers, if you feel the need, Fall and Fixture, Carlos Lando, Spy Fic. Carlos is a foreign spy who suddenly becomes Lando's roommate. Like, what? 3 wishes for Verstappen. I've got one. This is a Max and Daniel story where Max accidentally messages Daniel with his new SIM card but doesn't reveal his identity, and flirting ensues. I
Please tell me you looked all those up in incognito mode.
look them up. Oh, that's all I've been doing for the last week. Why do you think we didn't record? Hey, are you available? No, man, I'm reading F1 fanfic.
It's getting good. They just went to the ballet. Oh my god. Okay.
It's more exciting than the race last week. This is what you have to do when the races are boring.
I was going to say F1 fan fiction, exciting races. That's enough for me. That's also fiction. Hey, Josh, thank you for the detailed coverage. It sounded like a great trip. And I'm not sure if I'm thanking you or not for that last bit on the whole fanfic thing. There's just some things you can't unhear. But anyway, so did we have any corrections from last week?
Actually.
Yes. So when I was talking about Robert Redford movies that I like.
Yes.
I believe you said 9-ish.
Okay.
For the record, I listed 7.
Okay.
They were in no particular order. Sneakers, Butch and Sundance, The Sting, All the President's Men, Legal Eagles, A Walk in the Woods, and 3 Days of the Condor.
Yep, that checks.
Yep. Also, I regret that I did not mention The Natural.
Yep.
I do not regret that I did not mention Captain America Winter Soldier or Avengers Endgame. He was in those, but I'm not regretting any of it. Didn't mention them. They're not in my top 5-ish. And I would also say The Candidate. which is from 1972.
Also, for the record, you've now listed 11. Anyway.
Ish. The ish does so much work around here.
Yeah.
My top 5-ish Redford movies. By the way, I've watched since he passed away. I've watched Sneakers and A Walk in the Woods. It's not the segment that we're doing right now, but it is what I did. Anyway, corrections. Gotta love them.
All right. How about follow-up?
We are getting robot umpires.
Finally.
Except we're not.
Oh. I was promised robot umpires.
I know. I'm disappointed. We are apparently going to get an automatic Hawkeye balls and strikes system of some sort.
Okay.
Very similar to what they did in the preseason this year, where you get 2, and if you're right, you get to keep using them. And then if they go to extra innings, this part's new. If they go to extra innings, you get another one every inning, whatever. But I will say I've attended a couple of minor league games here at the iCubs here in Des Moines this year. And they were using it at every game that I was at and using it pretty effectively. So they put it up on the screen, whether or not the ball was in the box or not in the box, and boom, and it's quick and you're off to the next thing. I really liked it when I saw it this year. The other thing that I saw with this report was that they are hoping that it cuts down on ejections, because 75% of the ejections so far this year have been over arguing balls and strikes or throwing things after arguing balls and strikes.
I mean, that's cute that they think that's going to do this. Here's my thought. Look, major league managers want to be run, and major league umpires want to run managers. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it'll always be. If it's not arguing balls and strikes, it'll be something else. Like, you can say that this is going to cut down. It's going to cut down on that. Then it's going to be, are you looking at me? You're out. You looking at me? Why aren't you looking at me? You're out. Blue will find a way to make sure they get their airtime, is what I'm saying.
Sports fans, he just used a word that's a no-no with umpires.
Okay. All right. So we're getting robot umpires. That's good.
Robot umpires. Did you see Mike Gundy, I'm a Man, got fired this week?
Yeah, I believe he was relieved of his duties as of Tuesday morning, I think.
I think he stopped coaching a couple of weeks before that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a Man, I'm 40 was 18 years ago.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I read this and I'm like, well, he got fired. I did read an article that said, look, he had success at Oklahoma State for years and years and years. You do that by not listening to people and just putting your head down and doing the work, which also means that you will never retire. You will be fired. Like I don't care about whatever's going on in the outside world. I'm just showing up to work. Like, there was only one way that this was ever going to end, was that he was going to be fired. And I have to say now, like, oh man, now it's not as fun. I mean, we can't make fun of him now. I mean, not for a little while anyway. Maybe Scott Frost has a place on his staff for him. Sorry, too soon? Okay.
I got an email this morning.
Yeah.
That Ragbri is shipping my souvenir package.
For next year?
No, for this last year.
I guess it is a souvenir package. Hey, do you remember that thing you did a few months ago? We just remembered.
I've been emailing them about every 3 weeks to check on the souvenir package that I paid for and had never received. And Erin, bless her heart, promptly responded, "Yes, we know. Yes, we're still waiting on one more thing. Yes, we're hoping to ship it out within the next 2 weeks." And then I just got an email this morning. "Hey, we're shipping you your stuff." Anyway, more Ragbri, the gift of content that keeps on giving.
You're going to get that envelope. It's my souvenir pack. You're going to open it up. It's going to look empty. Amy's going to go, "Was it empty?" I said, "No, it's my souvenir pack. It was filled with headwind and regret."
Yep.
Show almost writes itself.
So Quick dip into Todd's Tech Corner.
Yep.
Sponsored by the Taylor Center for Technology Policy.
Yes.
I saw a note on the iPhone Air that it's the thinnest iPhone that Apple has ever made.
Okay. That is what Apple is claiming. Yes.
Yes. And then I saw a picture. Todd, can you explain this?
Yeah. So on the left is the iPhone 6, which is 6.9 millimeters thick consistently all the way across.
Yes.
Then on the right side is the iPhone Air, which they claim is 5.6 millimeters, which is less than 6.9. However, if you look at it, it towers over the supposed thicker phone. When Apple says the thinnest iPhone it ever made, it isn't counting the part that isn't thin.
Oh.
Yes. So the part that is thin is the thinnest. The part that isn't the thinnest isn't included. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's how records work.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if the bottom of the phone were chiseled to a razor point on the end, that could be the thinnest phone that Apple has ever made, even if the top of the phone was 6 inches wide.
I mean, it could be. What Apple is claiming is the 80% of the phone that isn't thick, the 80% is the thinnest. Just ignore the 20%. It's sort of like I got all A's in college if you ignore all of the non-A's.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
I'm like,
straight A student. You got some B's. Don't count those.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's some people questioning Apple's claims here. Anyway, now here's the ironic thing though. When you see this, the part that is thick, right, that sticks up, and you're like, wow, that's a lot. Inside there is the camera lenses, right? Or the camera lens, because it's the Air, it has one. So the lens is there, as is the rest of the phone. Everything that makes the phone, all of the chips, the SoC, the memory, the RAM, all of it is in that little bump. The thin part is screen and battery. That's it. The phone is just in the camera bump.
It's my watch. I mean, I've got a phone in my watch too. I could just not have a phone and just have a watch. I mean, I'd look really stupid, Dick Tracy, but I could.
Yeah, but if it's an Apple Watch, not really, because the watch barely works without the phone. Also, cell reception sucks. Anyway, other than that, yes, totally.
Also, for these 12 reasons, you can't do that. But other than that, yes, you're fine. Yeah, sure.
And battery life, and small screen, and it's going to be a bear to be typing out on that little keyboard. Nick and Amy and Rapture. Nope. Damn it. Auto check. Nope. Rap. He'll get it. You know what? I'll just wait till the podcast to tell him.
Let's do this really quick.
And I'm here,
Yes, Queen,
to remind Todd of the mess Todd made when he answered wrong. Todd ought to know.
That's right. That theme from the Dino Toddler means it's time for one of my favorite games. Todd ought to know. So Todd, this is a little different than what we normally do. Normally I ask you a question about something that there's a definitive answer to.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In this case, this was a hypothetical that I saw on Twitter this week that I thought we should consider and discuss, because this is important.
Real quick.
Yes.
You got it on Twitter. I just need to ask something. Is this a hypothetical? Did this hypothetically happen in the 1930s in Central Europe?
Dude, we're not playing Money or Nazis. It's a different game.
I'm just asking because I'm pretty sure that's all that's on there. Anyway, okay, please continue.
If you were randomly dropped into a pro sporting event with your entire country's hopes and dreams on the line, which of these would you most want to attempt? And then which of them would you least want to attempt?
Dropped in as a participant,
Yes.
and my entire country is hoping that I bring them glory.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on team disappointment. Okay, good. Okay, so,
A free throw,
okay,
a penalty kick,
okay,
a 25-yard field goal,
okay.
or a 6-foot putt.
All right, I'm going to talk through this real quick.
Yes, please.
Free throw. Practice those in freshman year. Don't think I ever shot one. When I entered the game, no referee was stopping for any fouls. They were like, look, there's a minute and a half left. We're just going to run this thing. No free throws. You said a penalty kick. Okay. Okay, so penalty kick
With a goalie.
with a goalie. I think I've taken one of those at the RSL fan night, but I'm pretty sure the professionals were letting the balls go in. So I don't think that counts. Okay. 25-yard field goal. I have been on a Division I field and as part of Employee Appreciation Day. And for fun, they set up a penalty kick and they set up you could practice a field goal on the field. What I will tell you is two things. One, you think that 25 yards isn't very far until you stand there and you're like, how far away are those goalposts? That's a long ways. Second, I have proven repeatedly that I am uniquely unqualified to take field goals. I am pretty sure on one of the times my dress shoe went further than the ball.
If only there were video.
Man, that was not great. And then just a 6-foot putt. Now, the problem, of course, is with all of these,
Yes.
6-foot putt, go out in the backyard. If you have a putting green, whatever, before the round, you just knock in 6-foot putts. You're
I
like,
can
yep,
make them all day.
right? Boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden now, if you're talking like 18th hole, Masters, crowd, okay, that's a different thing altogether.
It really is.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, the difference between nobody watching and one person watching is pretty much all of the difference that I need. Okay, what would I try? I would probably, me personally, I would probably say free throw. Also, my country is going to walk away feeling really, it's not going to go well, but I would probably say a free throw.
When I looked at this, I was between a free throw, which I have shot a ton of in my life.
You've also told people that they're shooting free throws, but for a different.
That's true, and I can without hesitation guarantee that I have watched more free throws than I have shot.
Yep, that makes sense.
Right. I've also made a ton of 6-foot putts in my life.
Yes.
I can also say without hesitation that I have missed more 6-foot putts than I have made in my life.
Yeah.
It's just how these things work.
Yep.
At this point in my life right now, I'm putting my money on the 6-foot putt.
Yeah. Here's my other thinking. Penalty kick in a professional sporting event, you've got somebody who's actively trying to stop you. Right?
That's true.
The free throw, it's you and the basket. And, the crazy guy behind who's lifting up his shirt when he's really hairy belly or whatever. But that's
Duke fan. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's just you and the basket. And for a 6-foot putt, it's just you and 6 feet, and you just roll it in, right?
And an insane amount of break on a 13 meter green. But yes,
sure. Yeah. Penalty kick, you have one person trying to stop you who gets paid to do nothing but stop you. 25-yard field goal, hard enough to do if you just put a tee out there and are just knocking it through. If this is a professional football game, that means there are 11 large dudes who are coming for you.
And even the large ones are fast, and the small ones are even faster.
Yes. And this is the special teams unit. Most of them are trying to make a play to show the coaches that they need to keep their jobs and maybe get more. So they're trying real hard, right? So all the goalie is trying to do is just deflect the ball. Those guys are trying to deflect you, like remove you. So if I had to put them in order, me personally, I would say field goal, then a 6-foot putt, then penalty kick, and then field goal.
Yep. Todd ought to know this week, because this is a real life situation that could really happen. I thought it was important that Todd ought to know.
I'm glad you've thought through this, Todd, just in case this ever happens.
Should we do a couple idiots quick?
Yeah, let's do that. So, hey, Dewayne, what brand's your refrigerator? Do you know?
I think it's an LG.
Okay. Yep, I think that's what we have too. Do you have like a screen on it, like on the outside?
No, God, no. No.
Yeah. Okay. A number of them, I mean, last time you bought a refrigerator, I don't know if you saw, lots of them are putting screens on it. I don't know what they can do. Anyway.
Just something else that can break. I just want it to be cold, man.
Yeah. So Samsung makes fridges along with pretty much everything else. They make their smart refrigerators, and they call, and the ones with the screens are called Family Hub, right? Because you can, I don't know, calendars or messages for the family, buy more milk, right? Whatever. They run about $1,800 to $3,500. Okay. A statement from Samsung last week on people who own the $1,800 to $3,500 Samsung refrigerators with screens.
Yes.
Samsung is committed to innovation and enhancing everyday value for our home appliance customers. As a part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen that value, we are conducting a pilot program to offer promotions and curated advertisements on certain Samsung Family Hub refrigerator models in the U.S. market. So, your $3,500 fridge that has a screen, they are now piloting, again, for innovation and enhancing everyday value for you. They're now going to start putting advertisements into your kitchen that you can't control or turn off.
Hey, do you know cottage cheese is on sale this week?
I believe it was Cory Doctorow who came up with this phrase, and I'm sorry, as we've covered in previous shows, this is a family-friendly show, but he refers to it as the enshittification.
It's a fantastic word.
How everything just gets worse and worse and worse. Samsung's like, we sold screens, and now we can sell ads. I'm going to tell you, allegedly, so we don't get sued, I don't think somebody said, let's sell fridges with screens, and then 3 or 4 years into that product line, somebody said, oh, you know what? Oh, I bet we could put ads on those. I hadn't thought of that before. Likely not the way it went down. Oh my God. What? I want to buy a fridge to keep things cold. Boom. I want to buy a washing machine to wash my clothes. That's like, I don't need it to be smart until anyway, way to go, Samsung.
But I do like the little sea shanty that it plays at the end. Not going to lie.
Yeah, until all of a sudden one day you go, your wash finishes, and instead of getting your little sea chanty, it goes by Menon, and you're like, son of a bitch, god damn it, they did it again.
Oh.
How about you? What'd you bring?
So when I was in Chicago this last week, I had dinner with a work colleague, and we were comparing Tucson stories because she has a house in Tucson, and Amy and I were going to winter in Tucson. And she said, the thing about Tucson, and this could be the thing that I learned this week, but it's not. The thing about Tucson that startled her the first time she was down there was the way the open carry laws work. So you can just be wandering down the aisle in the grocery store, and coming the opposite direction is someone carrying an AR-15. And she's like, I just don't expect to see that in my grocery store. But after a while, you kind of get accustomed to it because it's just the way things work. However, what she did not expect to see as she turned the corner was the guy open carrying a python. Because apparently that is also okay in Tucson. And she took 2 steps, turned around, and walked the other direction. I don't know what would possess someone to open carry a python in the middle of a Kroger's, but in my estimation, is it an emotional support snake? What leads you to this result? I do not get it.
I'm just assuming he was buying him some snacks, wanting him to try it. You don't want to buy a whole box and then take it home and have the python go, I don't like those. Just bring him in, right? A little pick and mix. Just like, which one do you like?
But with a python, you go do that at Petco in the gerbil aisle.
I understand. Yeah. There. Are you sure that grocery store doesn't have a pet aisle?
No,
Or
I'm not. I
did
can't
have a pet aisle?
At one point, maybe. So the other thing that I did in Chicago, quick little travel story. Todd, do you know what this is?
Oh yeah, it's a text message.
Yes, it is.
Oh. Okay, well that's you.
Yes.
I recognize you.
Yes.
And that's Greg.
Yes,
I
it is.
recognize Greg.
Yeah. Do you recognize Teddy Lasso?
I was gonna say I recognize that that's a dog, but I don't recognize his name.
Yeah, it's Teddy Lasso.
Okay. I also recognize that Greg is walking in the street without shoes. I don't recommend that, but maybe it's a nice neighborhood. But you guys are pictured in front of what I'm assuming is a Naperville drain.
It is. That is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And not pictured, but across the street is Purple Drain.
Yes.
So, but I visited when I was in Chicago. I visited the highs and I got a guided tour of the Naperville drains. I can say they are in excellent shape.
Excellent. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
wow. Okay. Good job.
So I was watching that. I was watching some Robert Redford movies. And tonight I also watched the first episode of Slow Horses, which dropped on Apple TV. So,
excellent.
And it's back, and it is back in a big way. So
there's conversations in our house about, because they drop it weekly, do we need to wait and do like one a night? Partly because at times, if you wait a week, you're like, now wait, who is that again? And why? And is that person... There may have been a season with, okay, wait, is that person with the Russian accent the good one, or is that person with the Russian accent the good one? I don't anyway, there's conversation about the right order in which to watch this.
Well, we'll see which bears out for you. What are you watching?
I'm not watching much, but I was going to point out that Dancing with the Stars is back. Stars is in quotes.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what. And I'm not, Lisa enjoys watching it. Literally, I believe she's watching Dancing with the Stars right now as we're recording. However, There was a comment that said, "Oh, it's back, and if you're going to make me watch football, I'm going to make you watch Dancing with the Stars." And hard to argue with that logic, and yet I tried. So anyway, yeah.
We had a conversation in the car with Lucas and Hannah and Amy about, again, stars in quotes, celebrities. I don't know that I'd say stars. Former I don't know. Anyway, there's not one but two Mormon wives. I don't know any Mormon wives. That's not true. I may know a couple of actual Mormon wives. I don't know who any of the Mormon wives on the show are, but there's two of them on this. And Andy Richter and the lady that used to play Topanga and the guy who lost his car, maybe. That's about it. I think that's about all I know. Oh, and the guy, the Crocodile Hunters kid. Also, that's another one that's on there. And his sister won, apparently. I didn't watch that season, but his sister won. So expectations are really high for, I don't know what his name is, but I do know Crocodile Hunters kid.
I think that's not what he goes after. Oh, and also Baron Davis.
Is that a basketball player?
It is. Yes. Former, I believe, point guard.
Okay.
Golden State Warriors before they were good.
Not while they were good, before they were good.
Yeah. Yeah. He's of the kind of, oh, he's with the Golden State Warriors. That's too bad. Not the, wow, how many rings you got? Anyway.
Not those. Not those. Hashtag not those Warriors.
Yeah. 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 I laid the foundation.
Sure you did. Did you learn anything this week?
Yeah. So we've talked, I think, a couple of times on here about one of the things we've talked about occasionally that we go to the sort of the Chinese foot massage place, but never at 2:00 on Sundays. Learned our lesson. Last weekend we were busy. There was a lot of things going on, and Lisa's like, when do you want to go? And I'm like, well, I've got a training run on Saturday and we got to do this thing or whatever. And she's like, well, you just tell me when. And I looked and I'm like, here's where this has come down to now, based off everything that's going on. If I want to do a Chinese foot massage, I could go at noon on Sunday or not at all. So this comes down to football, foot massage. Foot massage won out. Lisa's like, you wouldn't have made that same decision 5 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, also my feet were better 5 years ago. So that's just, it didn't hurt that I'm like, well, what would I be missing? Texans, Jaguars. You know what? We're fine.
We're good.
That's great. That's, I'm perfectly fine. So anyway, that's what I learned was push comes to shove, new priorities. How about you? What did you learn this week?
So when I was in Chicago, I stayed at a property which will go unnamed, possibly for legal reasons. Woke up at 4:00 in the morning and needed to use the restroom. And this is the second different hotel room that I stayed in during the week. Was a bit, because hotel rooms are not identical. This one was definitely not. Neglected to turn on the light in the bathroom. And nothing automatically came on. Turned the wrong direction. And Todd, I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, yeah. That's on the top of your head there. Yeah, is that a couple of stitches?
Those are 5 staples.
Oh.
Turned wrong, hit my head on a towel bar, and went, oh, wow, that's painful. And then
proceeded to bleed everywher.
Yes, because it's
a head injury.
Because it's a head injury. So I put a washcloth on my head and put my shoes on and walked down to the front desk, and because I wasn't entirely awake. And the very nice lady behind the counter,
Slash dinged.
I'm like, is there, I mean, I don't know that I need to go to the emergency room, but is there an urgent care nearby, or, maybe a 24-hour time? I don't want to spend thousands of dollars at an emergency room. She's like, sweetie, what did you do? And I showed her, and she's like, oh, you don't need to go to the emergency room. Mom of 4, grandma of 20. I gotcha. You're fine. She proceeds to use rubbing alcohol to patch me up and put a Band-Aid over my head to hold my head together, and sends me back up to the room. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's not so bad. I mean, she had a better look at it than I did, and I don't know, whatever. So I got to about 7:30, and it was still bleeding a little bit.
Yep.
And I get on my phone, and I'm like, urgent care clinics near me, literally across the street.
Just go out this door right across the street. Yeah, don't worry, they got you.
Right there. However, it didn't open until 8 o'clock. So 7:45, I put my shoes on, I get dressed, boom, 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 down to the urgent care clinic. For starters, they didn't take my healthcare insurance. Whatever, fine. But the doc looks at me in the waiting area, because the receptionist says, I don't know if the doc is willing to treat a head wound, but we can ask her. Maybe she can just come out and take a look at it first and decide whether or not we need to send you on to the emergency room or what. Great. Doc comes out. She's like, yep, not a problem. I'll grab some glue. It's superficial. I don't think you really need stitches or anything, but it really can't stitch where it's at, but we can glue it back together. You'll be fine. You'll be out of here in 10 minutes. This was the substitute doctor that was covering the clinic because the regular doctor was on vacation. Turns out the regular doctor does not believe in glue.
Okay.
I
just as a concept or for treating wounds?
Either way, there was no glue in the building. So they first tried those little paper butterfly strips.
Yep.
Not effective.
Okay.
3 different times, not effective. And the doc's like, well, I can staple it shut because stitches just really won't work where it's at, but I could staple it up. I'm like, yeah, but then I'd have to go to another clinic to have the staples removed. Well, yeah, but we've got them all over the place. I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm from Iowa. 20 minutes later, she's like, I think we're just going to have to staple it. I'm like, okay, fine. No lidocaine, no numbing it up, no nothing. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Hurt worse than hitting my head to begin with. So at some point, I'm going to have to go to a clinic and have the staples removed. But in the meantime, I got a story. Was it a good day or was it good content? I don't believe in glue.
I'm just surprised when you said, I'm going to have to go to a clinic. She says, no, not that. Don't you have a pair of tin snips at home?
The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast with visiting Dr. Todd Prinz, because that's how tin snips work. Wherever you get your pods, just search Talkin' in the number 2. There's no G and no space. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. Thanks to our listeners, our sponsors, our contributors, and our roving correspondents. We appreciate you. And as always, you can send us your feedback on this episode or any episode to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
There's some irony there that you went to the urgent care hoping to get glue and you ended up with staples, when if you would have gone to Staples, you could have found the glue you needed. I don't know if they're covered by your health insurance either, however.
I asked Amy this morning, can't I just go to Staples to have these removed? She's like, I don't think you're going to like the result.
No. They put them in. They staples. You need to go to unstaples. It's not rocket surgery. It is removing staples, however.
Hopefully we don't have blood that we need to clean up next week, but I'm sure we're going to have something. Either way, we'll be back. We're here. We're talking to Todd.
Know anybody with like some really strong magnets? I'm not helping, am I?